while ago, I noticed I had a lot of heat coming from the attic access hatch, so I'm going to show you how to fix that problem. I'm How To Bob, and we're going to get started by going up into the attic. So I'll push my hatch up, and it looks like I have a ridge vent on the top. It's cut in, but you'll notice that on the trusses that there's some mold growing, and that indicates that there's been a lot of condensation and moisture during the winter, and you can see this truss over here has got a little mold on it, so that just tells me that there's a lot of buildup. Now I go up onto the roof and I see my ridge vent is very shallow, not a lot of air movement, and a lot of it's crushed down. The end is popped up just a little bit, which is okay, but just not a lot of air movement. So I'm going to replace my ridge vent. I'm going to start by measuring the length of my roof so I know how much ridge vent to get and how many ridge vent shingles or caps to get. Then I'm going to go over and start to remove the caps on the side that is popped up. This is the last one that was put on, so just simply get underneath of it and pry up on the nails here. And once I get a few of these ridge cap shingles off, you'll be able to see what I have here. This is the existing ridge vent. It's like a fiber material. It comes in a roll, and it's really thin. Doesn't allow a lot of air movement. Now you want a lot of air movement in your attic. Comes in the soffits, in the eaves, and flows through. It'll either go through a vent that's cut into your roof or out the ridge vent. This looks like it was compressed when the cap was put on, and you can see it's not real thick either, so it's not going to allow a lot of air movement. But you want a lot of air movement just so that in the winter time it doesn't condensate and cause moisture. And I get a lot of air movement out of just that little section that I removed. So it's real moist, hot air coming out. I did not feel that with the ridge vent on there, so I know that's my problem. You can see how wide this is. If you don't have a slot cut in the top, it's very easy. You can draw a chalk line down the peak of your roof and just cut a section out of the peak about 2-3 inches wide. You can see a little specks of mold here caused by the moisture buildup at the peak. And this is the fiber roll or ridge vent that they use. You can see how thin it actually is, and then when it gets compressed by putting a shingle on, it makes it so much smaller than the one I'm going to use, which is right here. This is a hard ridge vent, and what it does is shingles go over top of it. You can see the mesh underneath, and that'll keep any pests, bugs, or anything from going in. And the shingles go over top of this once I get this nailed into place right on the peak of my roof. So simply slide it onto my roof. You can run a chalk line all the way down your roof and line up the one side, and it nails into place. There's nailing holes right here, and make sure it's lined up just right with the previous one. You want to start right at the end. This will allow so much more flow of air. Once I get this installed, I just butt those together and use the nailing holes. Once I get this installed, I'll come back with my shingles and go over top. You can see there's a line in the ridge vent that says nailing hole or nailing line, and I want to line up my ridge vent shingles, and I've got some 2.5-3 inch nails, roofing nails, and I'll put those in right at the line on the ridge vent, and this is going to allow so much more airflow and save my roof. So you can see I have a little bit of an overhang here on the last one, or the first one I should say, and up in the attic you can see a lot bigger area for air to flow. So this is going to give me a lot more air, and I've got all my shingles down now. I want to put a little tar on the last nail head, and that's all there is to installing a ridge vent. I'm How To Bob. Thanks for watching.